Hello again. Today is Friday, October the 26th, 2012. It's about 3:30 my time, and thank you once again for the opportunity to come back to you and post another video. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you find this video informative because today I want to talk about something that's been discussed in the news, but get into a little bit more detail, and that's concerning voter suppression, and in particular, two subparts of voter suppression. One has to do with the media, and the other has to do with our two political parties, our two mainstream political parties here in the United States. And I found that in my own research and analysis of the issue, that there are two news networks, who regularly and effectively suppress your and my vote. And that is Fox News Channel and MSNBC. And but there has been some instances and some occasions, actually a handful of occasions, where for just a moment, if you will, they have stepped outside of their comfort zone and they have endeavored to go beyond the suppression and to inform the viewer, to inform the voter. Okay? And three such individuals, two of them who do it on a regular and consistent basis, but one individual in particular plays both ends against the middle. In other words, he will participate in the voting suppression, okay, but at the same time, he will give out information, okay, and that's what they call playing both ends against the middle. And I'm speaking, of course, of John Stossel, former Judge Andrew Napolitano, and then lastly, Chuck Todd. And of course, John Stossel and Judge Napolitano are part of Fox News Channel, and then Chuck Todd is part of NBC/MSNBC. And I have to ask myself, though, concerning Chuck Todd, why are you playing both ends against the middle? Why? What purpose does it serve you? Okay. In other words, why is it that you are bothering to say, well, there are people like Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, Virgil Goode, Rocky Anderson, Roseanne Barr, okay, who are running for president of the United States in 2012, but they won't win because they're not a Republican or they're not a Democrat, okay? And that's all that there is really to choose from. That's all you need to be concerned about. That's all you need to be worried about. But yet, you'll have somebody like Gary Johnson on your show, Chuck Todd, okay, on MSNBC, your daily rundown show, okay? Or you'll have them on a little aside on Meet the Press, okay? I have to ask myself, why bother, okay? Why bother? If you're of the opinion, okay, that unless they're either a Republican or a Democrat, they won't win, okay, why bother having them on your air? Why bother, okay? And it's funny to me because concerning Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, Fox News Channel and MSNBC, I got some news for you. And it's some breaking news. Barack Obama and Mitt Romney are big people. And they've been big people for a long time. And they don't need you to hold their hand, carry their water, or drink their political Kool-Aid. Okay? But yet, the likes of Chuck Todd and one other person that I want to focus on concerning, let's just take for a moment MSNBC, okay, Chuck Todd, okay, and then another young lady named Crystal Ball, who is co-host of an MSNBC show called The Cycle. Okay, these have got to be two of the biggest Kool-Aid drinkers that I've ever seen in my life. Okay, I have never in my lifetime seen two more big Kool-Aid drinkers than these two. Okay, and if somebody else has, I wish they'd let me know. Please feel free to let me know. Okay, but Chuck Todd came up through the rank and file of the Democrat Party, and that's fine, great, wonderful Democrat Party. God bless them. Okay, carry on. Okay, doing wonderful things. Okay, but Chuck Todd, he came up through the rank and file Democrat Party, former political aide, if you will, to Senator Tom Harkin from Iowa, and he got involved after he left Senator Tom Harkin's tutelage. He got involved with the National Journal, their online area, and became the executive director in charge of their political section for the National Journal, and ran that until 2007. And then, pretty much out of nowhere, like a magician pulling a rabbit out of the hat, if you will, the late Tim Russert comes along and says, Chuck Todd, I see something in you. I see potential. I see development. I see a smart guy. I see a capable guy, a guy that can get things done, that can move the needle, okay, and back up the truck, okay. I see that, okay. So I'm going to give you your shot. I'm going to give you your shot. I want you to come to work for me at NBC. I want you to help me on my show at MSNBC, Meet the Press. I want you to help me with that, okay? I want you to help me develop it. I want you to help me to market it. I want you to help me to grow it, flourish it, thrive it. Bring me ratings, okay? Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia, if you will, okay? Bring me ratings. Bring me people. And Chuck Todd did that. Chuck Todd took that ball that Tim Russert gave him, and he ran with it, okay? And God bless Tim Russert, okay? May he rest in peace, okay? Great man, great reporter, potential, fair man, right down the middle, okay? Yeah, he might have skewed one way or the other politically, but for the most part, he kept things down the middle. He kept things fair, okay? And Tim Russert was a political journalist, okay? Of that, there is no doubt, okay? But Tim Russert tapped this guy on the shoulder and said, Chuck Todd, you run with it, okay? And then a little after Tim Russert passed away, Chuck Todd was being considered, okay, to replace Tim Russert. And I shouldn't even say the word replace, because you can't replace somebody like Tim Russert. You can only hope to succeed him, okay? But Tim Russert was tapped. He was one of the ones that was tapped to replace Tim Russert. Fortunately, or I should say unfortunately rather, the job went to David Gregory. Now don't get me wrong, David Gregory, great reporter, fairly accurate, good reporter, came up through the rank and file of the Capitol Hill Press Corps and then the White House Press Corps, and he's earned his shot at the brass ring, okay? God bless him, run with that Meet the Press ball, okay? Fine, okay? But NBC Universal, they go a step further, and they say, Chuck Todd, we see potential in you. We see development in you. We see happening in you. We see pretty much the same thing that Tim Russert saw in you. So therefore, now we want you to be in charge of our political department at NBC. We want you to run the whole thing, okay? You set tone, you dictate pace, you call shots, you have say-so and have sway as to what gets put on our airwaves concerning politics and what doesn't, okay? And we'll sign off on it. No big deal. We'll give you the blank check. Here it is. It's yours. Run with it, okay? And Chuck Todd has run with it, okay? He's run with it, all right? But at the same time, okay, while he's taken this mantle, while he's taken this ball and he's run with it, he has suppressed, he has deliberately and effectively suppressed your and my vote, okay? And he has devoided us of information, okay? And then he has a cohort, a sidekick, if you will, in this young lady named Crystal Ball. Crystal Ball, young lady, up and coming co-host of this NBC News, MSNBC News show, forgive me, called The Cycle with Toure and SC Cup. And his first name is Steven, but I can't remember his last name, and forgive me of that, okay? But she's a co-host of this thing. And to me, as I look at the show, The Cycle, it reminds me of the show Steinfeld, okay? It's much ado about nothing, okay? It is Steinfeld on political steroids, okay? They're running around in a circle like rats, okay, on a sinking ship, okay, talking about nothing, okay? And this passes for news. But I find it interesting. Crystal Ball, on the 25th of October 2012, during a segment of The Cycle called Crystal Clear, she had a little back and forth with SC Cup, and the title of the little back and forth was called Really. And for 10 minutes, better part of 10 minutes, her and SC Cup hosed CNN, and I have my issues with CNN, been well documented, well explained, well thought out. I got my issues with CNN, that's an aside, okay? But they took issue with CNN because, in particular, their online political section, someone had did a write-up, okay, concerning women, and in particular, women's hormones and how they vote, okay? That's what they put up, okay? And for 10 minutes, Crystal Ball and SC Cup do this cutesy-tootsy, hat in hand, story to match, too cool for school, make me feel good about my political prejudices, okay, moment in news, okay, about CNN and women's hormones and voting, okay, for 10 minutes. And this woman, this young lady, okay, who is politically astute herself, who has more degrees than a thermometer, who is a certified public accountant, and who has herself ran for political office, okay, as a Democrat. She lost, but she ran for office in northeastern Virginia for United States Congress in 2010, okay? But for 10 minutes, the news of the day is CNN's little online bit about raging hormones, women's issues, and women voting in 2012, okay? And the title of it is Really. Really. This is news. This is news. And it is nothing more than media-induced voter suppression. Whether or not CNN chooses or does not choose to talk about women's issues, talk about hormones, talk about voting, is their business. And whether or not MSNBC chooses to have somebody like Crystal Ball talk about women's issues and hormones and the voting process in 2012 is also their business. But it does not, those issues do not put food in your stomach, put gas in your car, keep a roof over your head, keep clothes on your back, okay, and keep you in a job. They do not, period, okay? But yet, somehow, Crystal Ball and the Cyclecast want you to think that they do, okay? And I'm guessing maybe to a degree Chuck Todd does, since he runs the political department at NBC, okay? I guess he signed off on it and said, you know what, Crystal, I want you to host CNN and talk about their little online bit about hormones and women's issues and how women vote in 2012. Okay? That's what I want you to talk about. That's the news of the day. The other thing is concerning our political parties, and I'm speaking of the Democrat and Republican Party for just a moment. In this election cycle, it is abundantly clear that the Republican Party is willing to do anything and everything they can to suppress your and my vote. And ladies and gentlemen, it is wrong. It is wrong, okay? And it's wrong because the only reason that they want to suppress your and my vote is because they hate Barack Obama's guts, okay? And they hate him for an abundance of reasons, okay? But chief among them is the fact that he's a black man and he's holding high office. And the Republican Party of today, of tomorrow, and apparently I'm guessing of yesteryear, resents that fact. They resent the fact that a majority of Americans in 2008 overwhelmingly and decisively elected an African American man to high political office. And they hate that, and they hate him, and they hate the voters. They hate voters, okay? The Republican Party hates voters, okay? And they exemplify that every day, but they are really exemplifying it in the state of Ohio, okay? And the Mitt Romney family owns stock and trade through their eldest son, Tag, in a company called Hart Intrasivic, okay? They make voting machines, okay? And the state of Ohio has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in these electronic voting machines that Hart Intrasivic makes, okay? And Tag Romney is benefiting financially off of that making, selling, and trading of those voting machines, okay? And the Romney family has cooked the books, okay? And they are going to do anything and everything that they can to steal this election, because they do not want a black man to be reelected to high office, and they do not want anybody, okay, anybody but Willard Mittens Romney in high elected office. Okay? They don't. Okay? And I'm going to post some links at the end of this video in the description section. And this one particular link that I'm going to post is by an online action organization that has started a petition it's called Credo Action, and they have started a petition that's going to the Justice Department for them to investigate Hart Intrasivic, okay, for their voting machines, and for them to check and recheck and check again the electronics, the computerized electronics in those voting machines, and make sure that everything is on the up and square, okay? And if it's not, They then want the Justice Department to say, we want you to pull those voting machines and put all new voting machines in. We want Hard Interest Civic to put all new voting machines in, program those voting machines properly, and make sure that every American citizen who participates in the electoral process, that their vote is counted, particularly and especially in the battleground state of Ohio. We want every vote counted. And everybody and his brother within the sound of my voice that is listening to this video now, they need to sign that petition and make the Justice Department, make Attorney General, United States Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. do his job, okay, and investigate these lowlifes, because that's what they are. They're lowlifes. They're stealing the election, or they're trying to steal the election. And under my watch, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'm going to expose them. I'm going to talk about them. I'll talk about them to their face. I'll talk about them on video. I'll talk about them in public, private. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? I'm going to expose Willard Mittens Romney for the lowlife sack of crap that he is. Because that's what he is. He's a lowlife sack of crap. Okay? And he is trying to steal this election because he hates Barack Obama. Okay? He hates him. Okay? And on top of that, he hates Gary Johnson. Willard Romney hates Gary Johnson to a T. Okay? I mean, he hates this man. Okay? And he has sent Reince Priebus, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, and his $1,000 an hour lawyers to every state in the union to blockade and stockade and filibuster and lambaste and lament Gary Johnson from being on the ballot in all 50 states. And out of 50 states right now, he's on the ballot in 48, and he's a write-in in one more, okay, with 49, and that is Michigan. He's a write-in, respective write-in candidate in the state of Michigan. Oklahoma is a wash. Okay? They're screwy in Oklahoma. I don't know what's up with Oklahoma. Oklahoma talks about freedom and peace and the land of opportunity in the middle of God's country. Okay? They got the Native American Indian Research Center, one of the largest American Indian research centers in the world, in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and every American Indian that is worth their salt has gone through that place, okay, and has looked up their heritage, traced their heritage back from when Indians were the first beings in the continent of North America, okay. But Oklahoma, man, I mean, they're screwbally. They're screwbally as far as ballot access. So that's a wash, okay? But Gary Johnson will be on the ballot in 49 states. He promised 50, worked hard, real hard for 50, but he can only get 49. And Mitt Romney and Reince Priebus both hate Gary Johnson's guts. They hate his guts, okay? And they have done all they can to keep him from being heard, okay? And Chuck Todd, he's gone along to got along, okay? He's been bought off, he's been paid off, okay, by his corporatist puppet masters, his statists, his oligarchs in Phil Griffin, okay? And he's been bought off and he's been paid off, and he's had a whoop-de-doo one-time moment with Gary Johnson, okay? Said how impressed he was and how fancied he was and how sharp Gary Johnson was and how astute he was, and was going to have him back on his show, The Daily Rundown. But so far, we're 11 days out from the big election, and I ain't seen Gary Johnson one time on The Daily Rundown. Okay, hadn't even seen him on Meet the Press in over 4 months. Okay. Chuck Todd runs the political department for NBC Universal. Surely he would have 5 minutes to sit down and talk to Gary Johnson, but I guess they're planning on doing that after Christmas and well after we're on our way to Inauguration Day 2013. But yet we've got Crystal Ball talking about hormones, women's issues, and the voting process, how women vote in 2012. That's more important. That's more important. It's more important. Folks, I'm going to conclude with this. We're 11 days out from the biggest election year of our lifetime. If you have not already voted, I encourage you to go to the polls now, participate in the early voting in your respective state. If you're in a state that does early voting, go and vote now. Now. Today. Before this day is out, vote. Vote. But before you do, if you have not voted, and if you procrastinate until Election Day 2012, I encourage you to go online to your respective Secretary of States in your respective states, okay, and then go online to your County Board of Governors, okay, and look for the Voters Guide sections in both of those areas. Download them and print them off and study them forwards and backwards. And then on Election Day, based on your own independent research and analysis of the ballots, the sample ballots that are online for you to download and look at and study, on Election Day, go and vote. For the love of God, go vote. Participate in this electoral process. It is too important not to. It's too important not to. I thank you very much for your time. I want you to scroll down in the description section and look at the highlighted links that are below this video. Check out the information that I posted. Go and vote. If you have not voted, go and vote now. If you want to wait until Election Day, that's fine, you can, but get those sample ballots from online and do your own research. Do not allow people like Chuck Todd and Crystal Ball to dictate to you how to be, how to live, what to think, what foot to stand on, what party to vote for, what individual to vote for. Do not allow people like this to dictate to you and tell you what to do. You are a capable adult. Use your mind and study the issues for yourself, study the candidates for yourself, and go and vote. Thank you.